Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up this afternoon, partners of Development Bank Ghana settle on an accounting firm to commence independent audits of the firm's operations. Also coming up, stabilizing Cedi and containing inflation rates set to dominate the Monetary Policy Committee meetings, which begin today. Plus, Lands Minister says current impasse in Parliament is a major setback to reviewing the 15% VAT on mining exploration in Ghana before end of this year.
Unfortunately, with the current state of affairs in Parliament, it is unlikely that we can conclude this matter before the end of the year.
My name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for being with us. Details coming up. All right, thanks for staying with us, everyone. That was your look at the currency market. Our first story this afternoon, donors of Development Bank Ghana have settled on an accounting firm to carry out an independent audit of the operations of the institution. There's more in the following report.
The accounting firm, we understand, will be scrutinizing the recent allegations made about the misuse of donor funds by the Vice President of Imani Ghana, Bright Simmons. Joy Business is learning that the work could be completed before the end of next month. This is because all the partners want some quick resolution of the issues that has come up. Sources say government, another major stakeholder, is fully on board to ensure that all the concerns raised are quickly addressed. The World Bank, a major partner of Development Bank Ghana, in a statement this week announced that it will be working with all the partners to address the issues raised. The World Bank has also indicated that they want things to be done in a way that will not result in any confidence issues for Development Bank Ghana. Development Bank Ghana has rejected all the allegations leveled against them by the Imani Ghana Vice President, insisting some of the work put out was not accurate.
Now, stabilizing the Cedi and containing inflation rate are some of the issues set to dominate the Bank of Ghana's Monetary Policy Committee meetings, which begin today. Here's more in this report.
For some, the work of the Monetary Policy Committee is cut out for them in terms of what is needed to be done to reduce the cost of credit and slow inflation rate. That is why these are some of the issues that will dominate the three-day gathering. The policy rate currently stands at 27%. However, there are strong indications that the Bank of Ghana may be forced to hold its policy rate at current 27%. This is because they are now worried about the outlook of the economy, hence the need to tread cautiously over any regulatory action in trying to control inflation, as well as stabilizing the Ghana cedi. The committee will also be looking at the current state of the banking sector and whether any regulatory action is needed. We'll also get some updates on the development in the fiscal sector as well.
Now, the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, GREDA, has expressed worry over the recent exchange rate challenges. President of the Chamber, Patrick Ebubonfo, says this is unhealthy for companies within the sector. He called for the use of local raw materials to stop the high importation of raw materials.
As an industry, we can't hope for anything other than a stable, exchange rate regime. It is our hope and prayer that maybe to counter that in our own way, we begin to use more, like I said, more of local produce materials and so on and so forth, and using certain technologies that we can replicate here. It will all help for us to, reduce our reliance on imports. The less we import, the less pressure we put on the dollar. So going forward, we hope that some of these things can happen, and then there will be implementation of new policies and new regulations to, engender also other financing options that are available on the market. Like I said, we don't even have secondary mortgage market in this country. So when banks write mortgages, they don't have anywhere that they can offload the books of the mortgages that they written. They have to sit with it. If it's mortgage for 10 years, 20 years, they must sit with it for the 10 years. However, if we have a secondary market, what they can do is sell it off to the secondary market. They recoup their money, come back to the primary market, provide more mortgage financing for everyone. We need this kind of cycle to work. And we need a proper and a strong regulatory framework to help us achieve that. Once we achieve that, and that cycle is very strong.
Now, the impasse in Parliament has been identified as a setback to the review of the 15% value-added tax on mining exploration. Speaking at this year's Mining Industry Awards in Accra, Minister of Lands and Natural Resources Samuel Jinapor called for a swift attention from the next government. The Ghana Mining Industry Awards this year was under the theme, A Decade of Rewarding Mining Excellence. It was used as a platform to shine the spotlight on outstanding achievements and innovations that continue to shape Ghana's mining sector. According to the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Jinapor, exploration activities in the mining sector need incentives so more investors can be attracted. He called for the next Minister of Mines to prioritize the issue of VAT on exploration, as he has started some work with the Ghana Chamber of Mines.
The next government takes the issue of value-added tax, VAT, on exploration very seriously and work closely with the chamber to find a way of dealing with this matter. This issue is very dear to us all, and indeed to the Vice President of the Republic, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, for we are aware that exploration is the lifeblood of any mining industry, and therefore incentives must be given to encourage exploration. I led the chamber to make a presentation to the economic management team, and we're seriously working to review this VAT on exploration. Unfortunately, with the current state of affairs in Parliament, it is unlikely that we can conclude this matter before the end of the year.
Vice President of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Frederick Atakuma, in his remarks highlighted the contribution of the mining sector to the development of the economy.
With respect to our economic contributions, the mining sector in 2023 reaffirmed its vital role in Ghana's economy by contributing 11.7 billion Ghana cedis in fiscal revenue, solidifying our position as the largest source of direct domestic revenue. Moreover, the domestic gold purchase program, initiated in 2022 by the Bank of Ghana, has enabled members of the chamber to sell over 781,000 ounces of refined gold to the central bank, reinforcing once again the sector's commitment to enhancing Ghana's economic resilience.
Meanwhile, Joy News' Erastus Asaridonko was awarded Mining Report of the Year. Some other key personalities were honored for their immense support to the sector in the year under review, whilst Anglo Gold Ashanti Ethiopian Mine emerged Mining Company of the Year. And a big congratulations to our colleague Erastus Asaridonko for winning the Mining Report of the Year award. Now let's move on. The 2024 Africa Economic Conference in Gaborone, Botswana, has seen a renewed drive to lift Africans out of poverty. According to the African Development Bank's 2024 Economic Outlook, 9 out of 10 of the world's extremely poor people will be in Africa by 2030, given current growth trends. Now, however, under the auspices of the United Nations Development Programme in partnership with the UN Economic Commission for Africa, UNECA, and the AFDB, this year's conference is seeking to draw on the expertise of actors towards securing Africa's economic future amidst rising uncertainty. Here's more in this report.
A patriotic call from Gaborone, Botswana, where the African Economic Conference is underway. Amidst global uncertainty, there is a push by Africa's development partners to lift the continent out of poverty.
First is to establish the importance of coming together. Really key. We're institutions all trying to do the same thing on the continent, but often we work in parallel. We sort of are in our own silos. So one imperative here is that we're establishing a new voice, which is African institutions working on the African continent must come together and tackle the challenges together. Second is where it's happening, Botswana. It really is important to register what's just happened in Botswana this past month with the elections and the peaceful transition of power. I think what we're trying to also feature here is that Africa needs this kind of strong governance systems to be able to build a foundation for development.
Botswana is still in jubilation as the country welcomes a new president, Duma Boko, who says he's upbeat about seeing Africa take a leading role on the global stage.
I hope at the end of this conference you will have reignited the passion. You would have fueled, augmented and deepened democracy at the very least. But that you will also have inspired us to more action geared at lifting our people from poverty and raising our continent to take its rightful place as a leader.
With 3 days of dialogue amongst actors across the African continent, the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa is hopeful that solutions will be developed to solve Africa's challenges.
People hear the reform of the global financial architecture, they hear challenges of climate, they hear issues of debt. How do we come to find solutions? And this, it cannot not be done by one institution, but let's come together with other governments, and try to debate and find something that can make more sense.
The African Development Bank is amongst leading financial institutions calling for a reform to the international financial architecture.
And the reason for that is very clear. We are seeing a lot of multipolarization in the global economy. We are seeing a lot of talk about reforms in the global economy. And we are seeing a lot of challenges and continuous global shocks that continue to buffet African economies, making African growth to be going up and down all the time. So we want to look at homegrown solutions that Africans can come up with in order to be able to address the major challenges that face Africa.
Conveners are hopeful that this year's Africa Economic Forum will help the continent come out stronger and more united to push for Africa's development. Leher Sugan's report for Joy News. Gaborone, Botswana.
All right, and Blessed will bring us more from Gaborone, Botswana in the course of the week. Now, let's come back home to Ghana. Corporate organizations in the services sector contributed 46.3% of the country's total GDP in 2023, while the private sector's overall contribution reached $7.6 billion. Now, this was disclosed by Edward Ashong Latte, Head of Investor Services at the Ghana Investment Promotion Council, during the second edition of the Corporate People's Choice Awards in Accra. He emphasized the critical role of the corporate sector in driving Ghana's economic development, highlighting steps taken by the GIPC to make Ghana the preferred business destination in Africa. Carlos Caloni reports.
The second edition of the Corporate People's Choice Awards took place at the luxurious Mövenpick Hotel in Accra, celebrating excellence under the theme Excellence Unveiled, celebrating achievement endorsed by peers and affirmed by the corporate sector. The event honored 26 corporate organizations and 3 individuals for their exceptional performance as rated by industry players and the general public. Speaking at the ceremony, Head of Investor Services at the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Edward Ashong Latte, highlighted that the services sector contributed 46.3% to Ghana's GDP in 2023.
According to the Statistical Service, corporate businesses in the services sector accounted for 46.3% of GDP in 2023. According to the World Bank, the private sector contribution to GDP was valued at $7.6 billion US dollars. This significant contribution to Ghana's underscores the indispensable role of the corporate sector in Ghana's economic development.
Event Director at Maven Communications, organizers of the award, Seth Jojo Danso, explained that the initiative seeks to promote customer satisfaction and service excellence.
The Corporate People's Choice Awards, organized by Maven Communication, is here to distinguish excelling businesses that have provided exceptional products, be it works and services. So basically, if companies are not doing well, if companies are not providing products that serves the need of their customers, then the end users, the customers, wouldn't purchase products of companies. Now, if this happens, demand decreases.
For Joy News, Carlos Galoni, Accra.
All right, you're watching The Marketplace. We're taking a short break. We will be right back. All right, let's begin with the money market. Government missed its Treasury bills target once again by 7%. The auction results by the Bank of Ghana showed that government got 6.413 billion cedis as against a target of 6.89 billion cedis. Here's more.
The T-bills sale fell short of its target by about 482 million cedis according to the result by the Bank of Ghana. All the bids were accepted. 4.244 billion cedis of the 91-day bill, representing about 64% of the total bids, were accepted. For the 182-day bill, about 843 million cedis were tendered by investors. A little over 1.32 billion cedis came from the 364-day bill, but at a higher cost. Meanwhile, interest rates continue to surge on the yield curve. This is expected to increase the government interest payment. The yield on the 91-day bill went up by 23 basis points to 27.19%. That of the 182-day bill also increased to 27.98% from the 27.78% the previous week. For the 364-day bill, the interest rate shot up by 61 basis points to 29.82%.
All right, the share prices of Standard Chartered Bank, Total, and BOP are expected to make gains this week on the Ghana Stock Exchange as demand for their shares increase. Let's hear from Grace Munaye and updated bank research.
Last week's trading closed on a positive note, registering 4 gainers and a laggard. The gainers were Cal Bank, MTN Ghana, EcoBank Ghana, and New Gold. Conversely, Enterprise Group closed as a sole laggard for the week. As a result, the market indices closed higher, with the Ghana Stock Exchange Composite Index advancing by 0.15% weekly to a year-to-date gain of 49.04%, whereas the Data Bank Stock Index gained 0.13% weekly to a year-to-date gain of 45.83%. Market turnover fell by 57% weekly to 3.44 million Ghana cedis after trading 1.3 million shares over 23 counters. MTN Ghana led trading activities last week, accounting for 79% of the market turnover. On outlook for this week, we expect the share prices of Standard Chartered Bank, Total Energies, and Ben's Oil Palm Plantation to gain on increased demand for their shares. For Joy Business Reports, Grace Munanyun of Databank Research.
Right, and that's Marketplace. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business, including the T-bills auction, government missing its target once again, plus Ghana to face liquidity pressures in 2025-2026 despite restructuring most of its debt, that's according to Fitch. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Thanks for watching.